Hi, I'm Will Goldstein at thekingschord.com, and the title of this video is Theory and Chord Construction Chart. So it's an explanation of that chart. This chart, I'm showing it to you, but you'll see it backwards. But it's in the back of most of my books, and it's extremely helpful for musicians to be able to understand, especially musicians who aren't well trained in, say, jazz or something like that, and they only have limited knowledge of chord construction. So on this chart, I'm going to go through some of the elements of it. So for this to make a lot of sense, you might want to go and download one of my books at thekingschord.com. Just go to the PDF. All my books are available if you go to the PDF page and download the songbooks. There's like 27 volumes, but most of the volumes, especially the later ones, have this in the back of it, and then you can look at it and maybe watch this video again, and that'll help you to understand it. So, the chart starts to the left with roots, and then it gives all the basic intervals. So this is sort of a follow-up on the Pythagoras video, and so before I get into this actually, so a follow-up to Pythagoras is, eventually the equal temperament scale was developed. And basically what that means is that, without getting too far into it, is that in the Pythagoras scale, all the whole steps and half steps that were in the Greek modes and things are not exactly the same. So that created problems for example, if you wanted to play in a different key all of a sudden. So all of a sudden modulate to a different key. That would be very difficult in that system because then it would start to sound out of tune. So basically in the equal temperament, then since all the half steps are the same, then that made it so that in modern music you can freely go between keys and all in one piece on one instrument, and so that just was really helpful for chromatic harmony. So getting back, so chromatic harmony is really based on a knowledge of intervals and music theory, and so this is a helpful video on that topic. So you have basically on the chart you have a list of all the intervals on the top, so that would be roots, minor second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, perfect fifth, augmented fifth, did I say diminished fifth in there? Diminished fifth, and then perfect fifth, and then augmented fifth, and minor sixth, minor seventh, major seventh, and then to the octave. So those are all the intervals. And then on the left you have all these roots. So starting at the bottom you'd have like C sharp or C, C sharp, or D flat, D, D sharp, or E flat, etc., all the way through all the notes. And then since you have this system here with the intervals at the top and the roots over here, then you just follow the chart and you can see what, for example, a minor third above, say, C sharp was. You go over to the C sharp column and you look over to minor third and you see it's an E. Or if you wanted to know what an augmented fifth is above F, then you would go over to the F column, and then you would go up to I think I said augmented fifth, so that would be C sharp. Okay? So that's how you use and the reason why that's so helpful is because chords are made up of intervals. So all basically on this one piece of paper is all, well, not all, but almost all of the chords that you could possibly play in music. And it's an understanding of what those chords are and what the notes are in that chord all in one piece of paper, if you know how to read the chart. So, and if you, it's the ones that aren't in the chart in jazz, it's because they're sort of way out there. And I mean, I might even use some of those chords, but if you understand this chart, you'll be able to figure out those chords because the list gets ridiculous at a certain point. But all these chords are extremely useful and extremely common. Well, common depending on the genre of music that you're playing. So basically that's it. But I'll give you some examples. For example, when I say a formula, say, for example, and also it shows you on this chart the signs. For example, a major chord, there is no sign. You just, if it's a C chord, it's just C. And then it tells you what the formula is. So it's root, major third, perfect fifth. So you look up at the interval chart and you go root, find your root, and you go root, major third, perfect fifth, and it'll tell you the notes in that chord. And it just goes on and on with all the different chords. For example, a minor chord is signified by a small m. An augmented chord is signified usually by a plus sign or AUG. A diminished chord is like a little circle. So, example, it gives you that, and then it gives you the formula for each one of those chords. And they're all on this page for any chord in any key. So it's extremely useful, and it also kind of gives you a little bit about the modes, and it also lists what a pentatonic scale is, because that's extremely common in music. But like I said, it tells you the Greek modes, which is a follow-up to Pythagoras, since, the Pythagorean scale basically is the basic structure for those Greek modes. And to explain the Greek modes, say these Greek modes are pretty easy. So, and a lot of my, fair amount of my music is using different Greek modes. And beyond using the Greek modes, there might be even chromatic harmony that's associated even within those Greek modes. So in other words, you're not pure Greek modes, but the basic elements of it might be that. Okay, so the Greek modes, basically, if you have a C scale, C is the tonality, it's the center. It's all the music is gravitating back to the C chord and the note C. So that means that the chords are, like, for example, a cadence, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 1 chord, so F, G, C, and C is home base. And it's using that scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Well, let's say a Dorian mode is those same notes. It's D, but it starts on D and it ends on D, so it's D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, okay? But D is now, the only difference is D is now home base. It's not a major scale off D or a minor scale off D. It's using the C scale, C, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and the Dorian is going to be D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, but D is the home base, not C. And so that also changes the way that you do the chords. So instead, it's not based on an F, G, C chord. It's more based, on something maybe like D minor, C, A minor. Let's see, D, for example, D minor, maybe F, C, D minor, or something like that, or G, D minor, G, A minor. F, C, D minor. I'm just kind of making up something to show you, but it's all going back to the D minor, and the chords are used differently. That's very simplistic answer to what the Greek modes are, but there would be a mode off each one of them. For example, the E minor chord in the third mode. Okay, so you have the Phrygian mode. The third mode is going to be the E minor is going to be the same, the center of the tonality. Then in the Lydian mode, the F is going to be the center of the tonality, etc. The Mixolydian mode is G is now the center. The Aeolian mode, A minor, that's our natural minor, etc. And the Locrian is way out there. So I hope that's helpful. Maybe, some people kind of look at these chords and they're trying to figure out how to play these chords. I'm just letting you know that this is in the back of most of my books, and you can find it and watch this video, and it's pretty self-explanatory on the chart, and I hope that helps for any musicians who are interested in playing some little more sophisticated music. All right, bye.